So, I've had some downtime because I was sick last week because I had to go to London for business purposes and I was bedridden, terrible migraine and other aches, it was awful, and during that time I was supposed to be working on some Legend of Zelda fan artwork, but instead for today's video I am going to share with you my new profile picture for Pride. I am a Pride ally, I am straight and married, but I am also demisexual. I learned this as I got older and wiser, and I wanted to share with you some stories of let's never meet again from my past. Looking back on these situations, they range from wow, that was stupid cringy, to I'm glad I avoided that, to haha funny, kind of, and serious of oh my gosh, that's an extreme red flag. The first few, I just want to give some context clues of firstly, I was ranged from 12 to 16 with most of these interactions before high school and all that other stuff. So these were people trying to do the illegal and stupid, and others who were around my age who were kids who were just trying to flirt because I was a gamer girl and they were a gamer guy, and it was just stuff like that. But nothing ever came of it, and the others I'll get into involve a bit of a disclaimer of some threats, some violence, and some unwarranted touching. So just for context there. But these are meant to just kind of be more lighthearted, of looking back on it of thank goodness nothing ever came of this, and just stories to share for anybody of please be safe and be careful out there, regardless of if you are dating or if you're seeking to date somebody. Do not push the envelopes and do not do the illegal, because just no. Jail, no. Try to be safe out there, because there are some people who will push the boundaries and try to do stuff that they are not supposed to. For these stories initially, I thankfully was safe about it because my family under the strict Catholic household was a bit paranoid in general with any kind of talking with random strangers, especially because the internet was fresh around this time. This was back around when the phones did the dial-up tone, and if your phone was having a phone call with someone on a landline, your internet would cut off. That's how it worked. And it makes me sound old, but I'm in my mid-20s, and this was just when I was just freshly in high school. This was the early days of just when YouTube freshly started to become a thing, and I started to discover what videos and GIFs were. I didn't realize that pictures could move. So another added context here, this was also with me. I didn't have the typical birds and the bees talk because it was a strict Catholic household of we'll tell you when you're older and you're married and all of these kinds of things. So I didn't have any of that. I didn't know anything, and I had one of those silly little cartoon books that I wish I could have saved the pictures for. Don't think I could share it on YouTube, but it was really poorly drawn cartoons that explained how, you get your time of the month, and I think I vaguely remember seeing that men also have other types of, puberty stuff, and it kind of went in one ear and out the other, unfortunately, because I learned sexual education not from school or from parental guidance. It was through Family Guy, it was through South Park, it was through American Dad, which is still one of the most vile cartoons I've ever seen in my life, and Robot Chicken. Now that I'm an adult and I kind of understand all of that stuff, wow, that was really weird for me to stumble upon, but that's what happens when I was watching Cartoon Network and then watched Toonami and then stayed up later than I should have and saw Adult Swim. So there was less privacy for those kinds of things, but it taught me a bunch of random stupid stuff. So when I first got access to the internet of Xbox 360, and I discovered that besides phones, that you could do phone calls with people, you could talk to people online from just about anywhere in the world as long as they also had an Xbox Live account. So I would talk to other kids around my age, and some general Call of Duty or Naruto, just some general multiplayer games, and it was fun, and I still have friends to this day that I met through online, and of course my husband, that's how we met. But this was before I met my husband, and these people were stupid, and also some of them were adults that were trying to do very illegal, I'm pretty sure, things, and even if these weren't adults, this is just stupid to begin with. Most of them were people that were asking, are you single, and if I send you NSFW pictures, will you send me NSFW pictures? And ew, no, not only do I not want to see you, but I'm not sending you any. Two in particular I can remember very vividly. The first one was an older gentleman, I believe, who was trying to find their partner or wife or whatever, claimed it was me, said my actual name, which scared the daylights out of 12-year-old me. So I said, nope, you have the wrong person, blocked them, removed them, and just gone. Done with that. And then another was, I believe, a woman. It could have been a man, I don't know, but they were definitely an adult, and I was 13, and they sent a message, and I quote, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. Here's a picture. It will turn you lesbian. We should hook up." And the little hamster in my brain was turning, and I was like, lesbian? I don't understand, and I wanted to ask questions, but I also didn't want to interact, and I definitely didn't want to open that picture in case it was NSFW, because I didn't want to be scarred for life, so I just deleted, blocked, gone for good. There were other instances where when I freshly started to discover what Connect was, where I would video chat with a friend, and it was fine. And then one random person who I did chat with, who I thought was a friend, I do not know if they were trying to get my attention because they liked me or not, but this is not okay. This is the one time that I remember seeing something that scarred me for life, which was them taking out a weapon and inflicting the self-harm. And then they cut the feed of their video. It scared the daylights out of me. I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't going to be able to talk to my family about this because I felt responsible, and all these thoughts that ran through my head. And then the jerk the next day said they were perfectly fine and they do this often. So I said, I can't be friends with you. You need to go talk to somebody, talk to your parents and all that. And I turned it offline. I'm pretty sure that they were only a couple years older than me, but that's not okay. Whether that is them trying to seek a relationship or a friendship, that's not okay. The other things were when I was going to high school. Oh boy. This one's a longer one. This was when I first started dating them. We were both the quiet, artsy kids, and things were fine. It was that cutesy of like, we'll just talk before each class, and we shared about anime that we watched and liked, and then it got to sit in my lap at the lunch table. That's affection in public, and the school didn't like that, didn't allow it, and eventually it got uncomfortable of being chased down the hallway before and after every single class to get a hug or a kiss, and threats to my friends, basically like, it's either me or your friends, and that's when the red flags started to come out. Broke up with them and gave them a second chance around Valentine's Day. That was the biggest mistake I ever did because they realized they weren't gonna be with me forever. In their mind, their thoughts were like marriage and children already, when I only knew them for a few weeks or months at this point in time. So this escalated to them running up behind me, grabbing my backpack to the point where the handles of the backpack strap snapped, and sent me flying. I was ready to drop my homework and my backpack assignments and just ditch it and leave, so I told my friends, and eventually when my friends physically tried to stop them and said, stop following her, he threatened to break their arm, and that's when I started to put my foot down a little bit, but I was still terrified that something could happen, and I just told them to stop it. And then there was one instance in class where we were supposed to partner up, and I turned to the guy next to me who I didn't even know, and I said, can you help me with the assignment? You seem to have good grades, and I could use a bit of help. I was also dyslexic, and this was a Spanish class, so reading it was kind of difficult for me. So they agreed to help me, and the minute that I scooted my chair over, my ex was in front of me, turned around, slammed their hands down, dragged the desk with me in it forward, and it just, it sent my soul flying, and the teacher called them and said, go to the principal's office, and I couldn't concentrate for the rest of that class. I was having a full-blown panic. So this just kept escalating to me avoiding them like the plague and giving them the silent treatment, which wasn't okay, and when I did tell them, which was just shortly after I had met my now husband, that I was dating them, they punched a brick wall until their knuckles were bloody, and they would still follow after me and try to talk with me and try to get me to get back together with them until they eventually moved schools. But when we were together, there was that one final straw that told me we are through. That was when it was the holidays and I had invited them over. We were playing Monopoly of all things, and the next thing I know, they reached across, grabbed the button and zipper of my jeans, pulled down, and in that moment, time froze. I was panicked in fight mode. I was ready to kick them in the chest, but as time slowed, I looked over and I saw that strict Catholic family member standing in the doorway, and I was the one who was getting yelled at and in trouble for it. I had to go to church confessionals, which also made me sick to my stomach about it, but we tossed him out and said, you're not allowed over here, you're not welcome back here, and I was pissed off at them, and I said, no more, that's it. This last story made my skin crawl, because they couldn't take no for an answer, and didn't believe me until I literally showed up with my roommate friend who had to fib about us being a couple, because my husband was across the seas and couldn't do anything about it, and if he was, would have probably sucker punched this guy. But I was at my relative's place. The gardeners were there. The gardener's son came over. I thought that they were the gardener, some 40-something-year-old person, but they were a 20-something-year-old guy who started off with friendly chit-chat. I was in my car with the window rolled down, and eventually the questions led to, are you single? I said no, and then they started saying sick things like, would you like to know what it's like to have a inch? inside of you, and I said, no, please leave me alone. I left, and then I came back with my roommate friend who fibbed about us being a couple, and practically cracked her knuckles to scare this guy away, but please take no for an answer if you are in that kind of situation, and stay safe out there, and happy Pride Month, and thank you all for watching. Hold it right there, don't click off this video just yet. Why not check out some playlists of my videos while you wait for the next upload, and if you'd like to support my works and see more, click that link card down below. Patreon exclusive rewards for the Fennec Fox tier includes access to secret artwork, Arctic Foxes get shoutouts at the end of my videos, and early access to art and videos. Red Foxes have the opportunity to be featured when I need background characters or a commission instead. Subscribe for free if you have not already to join the Subscribblers squad, and tag me in some of that artwork and I'll share it in the Subscribblers gallery. Stay possum, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.